Before we jump into the first game, though, let me, introduce the cast. This is SC2 Community Team League. We love to do things with the community. We love to get involved with you guys, and it's a best of 9 format. It is a clan war type format, and what is it? King of the Hill or
King OTH?
Yes. So you play until you lose, and then one of your teammates will take over and play until they lose. So you can get some cool streaks going. We're gonna have some awesome games, and we also like to contact the team's captains before every match to try and get some biographic information on the players, so that we can inform you about who they are. They end up being more than just a name, and you can kind of put a face to the player that you're seeing that night. So tonight, unfortunately, NrG was not able to get back to us in time, so we do not have bio information on their players, but sMi got back to us. We were talking with their captain for a while, and in the first game that we'll be seeing, sMi Days will be playing. Days, his name is Carlos Grijalva, I think is how you pronounce it. Sorry if I butchered that. Feel free to correct me. He's a 22-year-old, and he started playing in Brood War. He joined sMi when he was 15, so he's been on that team for a long time. Apparently he took a break for a little while, but recently rejoined to play with them again. So he plays very solidly on the ladder and in tournaments. However, he apparently has had trouble in the past with clan wars, but he is getting better, and his team definitely believes in him. That's why they're sending him out first. So we will see how he performs. We do have a TVZ coming up first. NrG is sending out Mad, who is a Terran player. So we will get to see some cool ZVT action. How much you want to bet we'll see some mines and some banelings?
Hey, that would be awesome.
Does make it exciting.
Sorry, give me just 1 second here. I'm doing one last final adjustmentation. So sorry while we get things organized here. It has been a slow day. But
Well, by slow you mean fast day.
fast day.
Busy. But we are here, we are ready, we're excited to cast. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
We have got lots of cool games slated for you.
Oh, got it to work. Ha ha
Woohoo!
ha.
All right.
All right, I can see clearly now the chat, it works.
All right, we're going to not do karaoke tonight.
All right, so now we can say hi. Hi, yay.
Yay.
Still can't see how many people are in, but hey, I'll take what I can get.
All right.
So,
Well,
we're ready
let's
to jump
in
into
on,
our first
let's
game?
do this. Yep,
All right,
if you're ready,
let's do it.
let's get in here.
In our first game of this clan war between NrG and sMi, in the lower right-hand corner, it's going to be our green Terran. His name
Left hand.
is Mad.
And in the lower right-hand corner, wearing red, representing Team sMi, it is Days.
TVZ, as you said, we've seen lots of different things in this matchup. Really, there's no way to guess. The one thing that I can guess is that I haven't seen the early Reaper as much in TVZ as I have in TVP.
Yeah, Zerg has gotten smarter about how to engage with that. By the time the Reaper comes out, there's usually a Queen out not long after that or before it, and there's usually at least 2 Lings. So as long as the Lings can engage that Reaper on creep, they do have a speed advantage, and will be able to do some damage. And any person who's able to micro those Lings well is going to keep both of them alive. So it's hard to get much done with the Reaper against Zerg on creep.
Yes, sir, indeed. But we are seeing the supply depot go down. The barracks has not started yet. He's going to be probably starting that around the 13 food mark if he's looking to get a normal time barracks. But I don't see any SCVs moving out there. So what will we see? The 2 overlords from Days are headed over. Oh, we're about to hit the 14 food mark and no barracks yet.
I'm guessing he's going to do a command center first. And there
Yeah.
goes the
Oh, is it going to be
SCV.
Yeah, it is going to be command center. So this is a fairly common thing we've seen. The command center at the top of the ramp with the barracks on the right side to completely wall that off there. It's a pretty safe way to go command center first, or even barracks and then command center against that Zergy fellow, as he's putting down a hatch at his natural as well around the 16 food mark. Someone's messaging me on Skype. What is wrong with you? I am busy.
No. Well, we see Zerg doing a similar thing. He has not put down a pool, but he has put down. Well, I'm sorry, he did put down the pool just now, but he put down that hatchery first, and so both players are going to be fairly safe in getting these expansions. There's not going to be a whole lot of aggression coming out of either one in the early game. Both trying to get their economies moving, trying to get an early leg up on that tech, maybe. We do see a SCV scout moving in now. Going to see that hatchery. The Overlord for Days is kind of hanging out on the outskirts of Mad's base, and he is able to see that command center first, so he does know that this is going to be an economic early play. He's not going to be doing a lot of attacking in the early game, and he's got it positioned so that you actually, as Mad, cannot see that Overlord. So he's got some information without revealing himself.
Well, and he's probably going to keep both of those there and use them eventually to sneak himself in and do that suicide sacrificial Overlord. As there's an SCV here, what's he going to be doing here at the third base of Days, just preventing a base?
I'm assuming he's just kind of looking to see if there is a third there.
It would be nice if there's a way as an observer to tell if a unit was on hold position. But Zergling is going to come up, see that SCV, and he's going to deal with that. But the Zergs have a lot of times been taking this base out here as the third, but it does seem to not necessarily be a clear-cut decision as to which one to take. But both players on a fairly defensive footing at the moment. No real units coming out for Days yet, just a Zergling or two to poke around. He does have good vision with these Overlords. They make a nice, clear, complete view line over the right side of Mad's base, so he will be able to see any drops that come out eventually.
Mad is getting a factory and building a reactor on his barracks. He's likely going to lift up and swap those two so he can get some early Hellions out. Those are super effective against Zerg in the early game, allowing the Terran player to get map control away from those Zerglings and maybe put some early pressure on, keep the creep tumors back, and yeah, just kind of maintain a safe position.
You have true clairvoyance, my friend. There are two Zerglings out front watching the ramp as well, so I mean, Days has some pretty good vision here. I wouldn't necessarily call it map control yet, because these units definitely wouldn't stop anything from moving out, but it will definitely give him the knowledge of what's going to be coming his way. Third base is going down now at the front. Two queens coming out to put down some creep tumors.
And Days did do that gas-delayed build. He only just now had those two extractors finished, and he's fully loading them up so that he can get the gas and catch up a little bit, get that speed going, get the layer tech going.
It's interesting, too, that he's putting the gas down at his natural and leaving the ones until just now when he puts down another one in his main. I wondered if that was potentially if Mad was to poke up and sees two gas at the natural, saying, oh my gosh, he has 4 gas.
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely a way to prevent some of your opponent's knowledge as to what you're doing. Great creep spread in the early game here. He's got 3 queens down there doing the work.
Yeah, we've seen most of the Zergs have really been hot on the creep spread, especially in Terran, because I almost wonder if it's because those mines are so scary that you can get a lead on them before they get too far into your base. Oh, but there's a lot of not speedlings out here, so those Hellions are going to be able to do a lot of damage to those if he creeps out too far with those, no pun intended.
There are a decent number of Hellions, though, so they do have to be wary of those queens, as they don't do a whole lot of damage to the queens, and the queens can do some damage to them. But it looks like there's not going to be a whole lot in terms of mech following those Hellions up. Oh, they did get a wraparound, and were able to get a few Zergling kills there.
It's like a Zergling barbecue in there.
Absolutely.
All I smell is burnt hair.
Do they have hair, or...?
I don't know, do they? That's a good question.
I think they've got scales.
Maybe those little fins count as hair. But the queens are going to come out here to try and shoo those Hellions away, as a couple creep tumors were roasted there by those, so he's being effective in his creep prevention. Now he knows that there's some creep tumors here that are ready to go, so he's going to park those out there to try and prevent that as well.
Baneling Nest is going down, as is Lair. Speed has finished, so these Hellions have to be more careful than they did before, as the Zerglings have potential to wrap around them.
Yeah, also the Roach Warren is about to finish too, so it looks like he's going to be going with some, I would guess just a few roaches at this point to just contain the Hellions, but the Zerglings are going to come out and surround several of those Hellions. They're going to go down doing the life build here, killing all the Hellions with the Zerglings.
And he was able to get 3 before those Hellions got away, so that's a pretty good take.
Yeah, it looks like Mad is going to be taking his third base now as well. feeling successful at keeping Daze locked in his base. He has not really been able to get out to get much information. Baneling speed coming down, roach speed as well. 11 roaches on the way, so that's definitely more than I figured to see right away.
Absolutely. As you know, Matt is doing a very bio-heavy transition here. He's got his stim pack already done, combat shields wrapping up, as is +1/+1 for the bio units. But we do see an armory going down.
Yeah, that's likely going to be for 2-2, I would imagine, but
Yeah.
Daze is really investing in his melee upgrades, so we haven't seen any real upgrades besides speed coming down for the roaches, so I'm interested to see if he just kind of sticks with this Ling Roach style, or if he ends up going for some ranged upgrades as well to end up transitioning to Roach Hydra.
Well, those roaches will do a good job of absorbing some of those mine hits if they end up getting out there, or they can tackle any Hellion pressure that comes out. But there are a lot of Marines out here.
Yeah, we do see 2 mines on the way now, and +2 melee attack coming down, +2 armor, so Daze on top of his upgrades for sure, and those Banelings can do quite a bit of damage with even just the +1, but especially once +2 finishes.
And look at this. Lings at pretty much all the bases that Mad would take. He's really got great vision here. Looks like Mad is gearing up to do some aggression. A small Ling force is wrapping around to see if there is a third.
Concussive shells now about to finish too, so that's going to be important for Mad. Actually, it's not going to really be important at all because he only has 1 Marauder.
I'm sure he intends to get more. 12 Banelings are on the field now, and he decides that's about the time he wants to move in. Baneling speed is done. Stim goes down, and they've got a decent concave here. The Banelings are falling before they connect, and pretty much everything died except for the roaches there.
Yeah, that mine wasn't even all that effective because it hit mostly the roaches, so it didn't actually kill anything, I don't think. Maybe just a couple sacrificial zerglings, but as there's a counterattack here, the Lings get up in the main base of Mad. He's going to be in big trouble. There's a lot of Lings up here. I did hear a mine burrow somewhere. Not sure exactly where, but these Lings are ravaging the mineral line of Mad. Oh, there is 1 mine connection. Kills about half of the zerglings, but still he lifts up. Oh, another mine connection does a lot of damage to the SCVs as well, but he does come back with the Marines loaded up in the medevacs and cleans it up, but he lost
But in the meantime, the roaches and the zerglings and banelings are hitting the natural, and Matt is forced to lift his command center. Daze is really pushing for this now. He's going to try and do a break, focusing down that bunker, and the banelings move in, getting some decent connections, but there is a giant bioforce right there. Concussive shells goes, getting those roaches. And Daze is going to be forced to retreat as those Marines are pretty overpowering, and he's just going to counterattack, it looks like.
Yeah, he's got quite a strong force here. As his 2-2 is about to finish. It looks like he's going to delay for just a minute to try and let that finish, but 2-2 is finishing for Daze as well.
Daze does have quite the mineral bank right now.
Yeah, Daze has had this 4th base over here up for quite some time now and hasn't really used it yet, but if you look at units, he's at 65 drones, so he's about 10 away from where he wants to be. Not really making any, though, right now as he goes for Infestation Pit and 20 Zerglings.
And it looks like the mines in the bio are wrapping around, but Daze is right there if he can move off here. And the stim goes down, Baneling's moving forward, getting some connections, but off. Ooh, great connection there. Mine does hit. And the Marines are looking like they're getting cleaned up here. They're probably going to load up in those medevacs, perhaps? Nope, they're going to try and chase this down.
Daze, I'm not sure what he was going to do there. I mean, those Marines with the medevacs are pretty strong, but he had quite a few roaches there. I think if he would have just attacked, he might have not been too bad off, but once he started to run away and started losing roaches, then he definitely had the weaker force.
There is another Ling run by going into the main, picking off the resupply lines here. And he's getting a lot of Marine kills. There's SCVs getting killed. But in the front, we see Banelings connecting with Bio. I mean, both players are playing really aggressively right now.
Yeah, Matt only has 3 units left in this one medevac, and it flies right into some spore crawlers. Only 2 Marauders on load. But he doesn't have any units back to clean that up, so that 1 Queen's going to die.
And there's Lings in everything of Mads right now. Cleaning so much up, doing so much damage. That orbital command does fall at the natural. And GG.
Very good game, man. Daze was so strong in the fact that he just had a counterattack ready every time Mad moved out. So it didn't really matter how much damage Mad did, because if he was left open at all, which it seems like he was going to pay for it. Absolutely.
Daze really, a lot of the time, would split off his army so that you would have a a group of Lings wrapping around to where the third would be, as the other main army is kind of engaging with the bio or backing off and baiting the army forward. And as soon as that army was out, Daze was in with those Lings doing a lot of economic damage, and that really gave him the advantage and ultimately allowed him to take the first game.
Yeah, it was very creative play from both players. I expected to see maybe more drop out of Terran, but he just really both players went for the really fast, really strong upgrades, so that kind of nullified each other, but that's would have been more of an issue if one of them had have slipped on that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that Mad didn't really take advantage of the drop potential, although Daze did have a lot of spore crawlers around. He had impeccable vision. He saw so much of what was happening, so those drops likely would have been seen and dealt with, maybe not easily, but definitely dealt with.
Yeah, he really did.
All right, I think we are ready to move into our next game.
Yep. Got that loaded up. It's going to be a PVZ. We did not get any of the bio information on NrG. Is that correct?
That is correct.